Hello there guys, Mark here. I hope you are well. Today's video is short and sweet. We're going to be adding a Batman symbol onto the regular cobra knot paracord bracelet. This is a fast and simple process. Here you can see the stitching that we're going to be adding in this tutorial. It is done rather intuitively, so it should be fairly easy. There are a bunch of variations that you can do if you play around with your cord a little bit. For example, this is another variation which I whipped up. It is slightly wider than the one that we're going to be doing. So if you play around, you can get different results. So now let's move on to the supplies, then begin stitching. As far as supplies go, the first thing that you're going to need is going to be a cobra knot paracord bracelet. This is probably the most common of the paracord bracelets. It is also referred to as the Solomon bar and square knot paracord bracelet. Now naturally, you will want one in black color. I'm going to be demonstrating on one of a tan color just to make things easier to see. The second thing that you're going to need is going to be a short length of microcord. In your case, it should be of a yellow color. To make things easier to see, I'm going to be using red. A small lacing needle comes in very handy for your stitching. I do recommend it. Finally, scissors and a lighter are going to be used to cut and melt the ends of our cord once we have finished stitching. We are now going to begin stitching. I have 2 feet of microcord. I attached a lacing needle onto one of the 2 ends. Onto the other end, I'm going to tie an overhand knot. The knot is going to help me anchor my cord into the bracelet. Find the middle point in your bracelet. We are going to start on the bottom, traveling in between 2 cobra knots, bottom up. Then travel through the first cobra knot on the right, top down. Like this. Then through the second cobra knot, bottom up, and just before tightening up your cord, push your cord behind the cobra knot on the bottom, then tighten up. This is going to hide this cord out of sight. Continue traveling through the third cobra knot top down. Like this. Pass your cord under the bracelet and come up in between these 2 cobra knots. Bottom up. Then we're going to travel in between the next 2 cobra knots on the left side, but traveling through the center of the bracelet, like this. so top down. Then come up in between the two cobra knots above the center. So here. Travel to the left side in between the next two cobra knots. Top down. Like this. Then, below, through the center of our bracelet. Again in between the two cobra knots. Travel bottom up. Like this. Then, through the same two cobra knots, top down. Like this. Come up through the two cobra knots on the right, so in between, traveling bottom up. Then through the center of the bracelet below the two cobra knots. So here. Like this. Then come up in between these two cobra knots, bottom up, and travel to the bottom side into the third cobra knot. Top down. Like this. Then through the second cobra knot, bottom up, and again, when tightening up your cord, push it behind a cobra knot on the bottom. Tighten up, like this, and travel through the first cobra knot, top down. Then, we're going to travel through the first cobra knot on the left. Bottom up. Again, hide your cord out of sight by placing it under a cobra knot on the bottom. Then, top down, through the second cobra knot on the left side, and through the third cobra knot on the left, bottom up, again pushing your cord behind a cobra knot on the bottom. Then travel in between two cobra knots at the top, going top down like this. Then come up here in between two cobra knots through the center of the bracelet. Like this. Then in between these two cobra knots, top down, then under the bracelet to the bottom side, through the third cobra knot, bottom up, through the second cobra knot, top down, through the first cobra knot on the left, bottom up, again hiding our cord on the bottom behind a cobra knot. Like this, and finally push your lacing needle through here in between two cobra knots at the center of the bracelet, going top down. And this gives you the Batman symbol. Not that hard, right? Now, tighten up your cord, and on the bottom you're going to cut and melt it. You can see that the bottom has the Batman symbol as well. So, in my opinion, this is a job well done. And so guys, our project is complete. Do lighten up the days of any Batman enthusiast by providing them this style of a bracelet. Thank you very much for joining me in today's tutorial. I hope to see you in my future ones as well.